How many people really want to do God's will? Do you know what God's will is?
To be happy, joyous, and free.
Yes,
Yes,
you
even
win.
abundant.
You win. To desire God's will would be to forfeit all of our opinions. It will not be to change the world and then I can be happy, joyous, and free. If I'm waiting for the world, I'm going to wait for a very long time. Remember what I talked about on Easter, and I think I talked about it again last week. I am the door. And I've got to open the door, and I've got to take everyone through the door with me. And the only way to do that is to see them all correctly. If I'm holding out on one, I haven't taken them all in, have I? If there's still one that I'm holding out on as less than a God being, that doesn't mean I want to have lunch with everybody. Let's be very clear. We were cleaning out some of David's dad's Pennsylvania house yesterday, and I took a few things. And I picked up this. I thought it was funny. I know that you believe that you understand what you think I said, but I'm not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant. I know that you believe that you understand what you think I said, but I'm not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant. I enjoyed that. It's forgiveness prayer. I am forgiving myself for having harmed myself knowingly and unknowingly. I am truly sorry and I set myself free. I am forgiving myself for having harmed others knowingly and unknowingly. I am truly sorry and I set myself free. I am forgiving all others who have harmed me knowingly or unknowingly. I bless them, surround them in love and light, and set them free to their highest good. Thank you, God. Amen. So, what if I said, I am making way for the freedom of having harmed myself knowingly and unknowingly. I am making way for myself for having harmed others knowingly and unknowingly. I am making way for thoughts about others who have harmed me knowingly or unknowingly. And I bless them, surround them in love and light, and set them free to their highest good. I am making way for. I'm making way for a new thought. I am making way for a new vision. One that is not based on my past, but that is based on the presence of God. I am making way for, so that I can actually live in what we preach here. I am desiring to live in the result of this message. And here's the deal. You can't make the way for me. I can make the way for me. And I can make the way for you in my understanding. You cannot make the way for me except as you see me. But by your making the way for me, you have made the way for you. See, we're all accountable. I wish so much that it could be as simple as my mother and dad coming back and saying, oh, Shawn, we didn't mean it. You know, we forgot we were good. It didn't happen. Let me undo it. Wouldn't that be nice? And then I wouldn't have these thoughts about my self-worth because of a childhood that was an illusion. You know, years ago, David and I were on a cruise, and I was in my first year here. And we didn't live up here yet, and pretty much, I had a little apartment in the city, David had a big apartment in the city. Well, I moved a lot of my stuff from my little apartment into his big apartment, even though we didn't live together. And it got to the point where I was crowding him out of his big apartment. And on that cruise, he said to me, I'd like you to move your stuff. I'm not trying to end this relationship, but you got to move some of your stuff out. You're crowding me out. And I cried like I had not cried since I was a child. And I cried, and during that crying, I suddenly saw myself as a child whose mother and big brother didn't like him. And I hadn't done anything yet to not be liked. You know, really, as a 3-year-old, as a 4-year-old, what have we done to be disliked? And yet these people didn't like me. And I didn't know enough at that point not to take it personally. I didn't know they had forgotten they were good. I didn't know that, and that's why they forgot I was good. I didn't understand they had a lot of headaches in their life. I didn't get that. So I'm well into my 30s at that point, maybe in my 40s, when I cried like this for the pain I had experienced and the embarrassment, even though I knew the truth. I knew at that point they truly hadn't done anything to me, and it wasn't personal. They just had no space for me at that point. Before my mother left this planet, we had great space together, and my brothers and I have great space together now. But I cried for the child who didn't understand, who just didn't understand. The chapter in this week's, or the book we're studying, The Search for God, and this chapter this week is The Cross and the Crown. And we've all got a cross to carry. We've all got a cross we're going to carry every day, and it's our opinions. Our opinions, our belief in illusion, our belief that we have been done wrong is our cross. And I don't know about you, I've been lugging that thing long enough. You'd think. I would think. I guarantee you, I will lug that thing around some more with my opinions. I will have more opinions before I ask Spirit for the truth. I will have more places where I will try to convince myself that my opinion is accurate about what's going on in the world. And then I will have the good sense to once again go to Spirit and say, okay, enough, what's the truth here? And I get the truth. Listen to this that I had, Spirit wrote to me the other day. Okay, Spirit, tell me the truth about someone. Tell me the truth about someone else. Tell me the truth about myself. And it said, Shawn, I don't tell anything but truth. What is it you really want? And I said, I want to see and hear the reality about us. I want to think about us and recognize love. I want to know peace about myself. Spirit, keep showing me love, but let it be easy to recognize and easy to experience. We're allowed to ask for this. Unfortunately, some of us are saying, please let us recognize it. Make it as hard as possible, because if I suffer, then I'll be worthy. No, don't do that. Heal me with the feather. I shall do my part for the case with others. I really don't want to hurt anyone. I have no need for anyone to suffer. And then I wrote, okay, Spirit, I need to know about the cross and the crown. Because anybody who's read this chapter this week, it was a bear. It smacked of old-time religion. And I was having a hard time reading it. Thought, okay, ask Spirit. That's what we can do. We can go within and have the way made easy and explainable to us. I love that. Reveal to me the true meaning so that I may understand it for myself and reveal it to others in teaching. What does the cross and the crown means? And it says, Spirit said, it means exactly what it says as far as symbols go. The cross is a symbol of what you carry with you in the physical world. The cross is your thoughts of limitation. The cross is your belief in the world is real. The cross is your sensitivity. And that's the one that really jumped out at me, your sensitivity. Because we seem to embrace our sensitivity as if it's something to be protected. As if it is something we need to keep and hold on to. And not relinquish to God at all. Our sensitivity. Ow. Ow. Oh, that hurt. Oh, you said that. That hurt my feelings. Ouch. How dare you say it that way? How dare you do it that way? Don't you know that's the wrong way to do it? Well, is it? It's the way that it was done. Have you asked God about it yet? Have I asked God about it yet? I know it's the way that, this is the way that it happened. This is the way that it took place. If you're trying to get me or someone else to have done it differently, you're climbing up a hill that has no end. If we're trying to get our parents to have done it differently, if we're trying to get God to have done it differently, if we're trying to get the government to have done it differently, if we're trying to get our children to have done it differently, it ain't going to happen. It just is not going to happen. And that cross is going to get heavier and heavier and heavier as I sit around wishing it hadn't been this way. When there's a solution. And the solution is, Spirit, tell me what to think about it now. Tell me the truth about it now in this state of my spirituality. Spirit, tell me about it now. I don't need to know why it happened, but I do need to know how to think about it. Why it happened doesn't matter. Only our ego wants to know that. Why it happened is so immaterial. Because God is presence. We've never once referred to God as then. God is presence. That means God is now. Right now, I still have opinions about then when I need to be asking Spirit to tell me the truth about now. Tell me what to think right now, because otherwise I'm going to make something up. And I'm going to start telling God what it is. And when I start to doing that, I get weighed down and weighed down and weighed down. The example of Jesus carrying the cross up the hill before he was mounted on it. He did it knowing that it was his to carry. He said it wasn't poor. Oh, I've got to carry this cross. He knew it was his to carry. Would you be willing to know that your cross is yours to carry? And to begin to say, God, tell me what to think about this cross. Whatever your cross is. Rather than you trying to throw your cross on to somebody else. You know, you should carry this for me. I shouldn't have to carry this cross, but it's my cross. I will carry it, but I must carry it with understanding. And it's the same thing for the codependents in the world. Quit trying to carry somebody else's cross. It is their cross. Let them carry it. Love them while they are carrying it. But it's not your job to take their cross from them, so that you can carry yours while you're waiting for somebody, you can carry theirs while you're waiting for somebody else to carry yours. And we live in a big mass of confusion over crosses here. Let me tell you what my cross is. My cross is my ego. My cross is my opinions, my sensitivity, my stuff. And if I'm trying to get you to be different, to abolish my cross, it's not going to be that. The only way to vanquish my cross is to understand it, is to see it correctly. The only way that I'm going to be able to live with my sensitivity is if I see it correctly. Because you see, then it won't be your fault. It won't be their fault. And I won't be burdened with blame. I won't be burdened with being here and thinking there will be better. I won't be burdened. The cross will no longer be a burden. It will be my journey to the crown. And what does the crown represent except the kingdom? My cross is just my stuff that I need to see correctly. Correctly. I just want to end with this one thing that I also took from David's dad's house. A lot of stuff in that house. Don't quit. Don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will. When the road you're trudging seems all uphill. When the funds are low and the debts are high. And you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must. But don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a fellow turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up, when he might have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late when the night came down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you mustn't quit. Put your cross into the refiner's fire. Refine it by finding out from God what's really going on here, so that you may see it correctly. Surrender so that God may have God's own way.